what I want to review.
The stroke order you want to review, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what else?
I'm having an issue with radicals, like how do you do the ones where they're above each other? How do you break them apart?
How to break them apart. Okay,
Yeah.
radicals, how to break them apart. Yes, and Mary want to take a look at the stroke order, am I right?
Yes.
And do you have any question about the composition, the second part?
Yes. If you can review it as well, it's good for me.
Do you have any specific questions about that?
Mm, no, not really. Just like Huda said, just review how we break them apart, the bottom and um, like
Okay,
break them apart. Yes.
yeah. Okay, how about Julia?
Um, I think, yeah, I tried reviewing the assessment and yeah, having trouble with radicals as well. I
Having
don't know.
trouble with the radicals.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So we start with that, all right. Did you take a look at the exam paper?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the other parts do not pose a particular challenge, am I right?
Yeah.
Is that the general impression? Because they are explained in the PPTs. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, if you go through all the PPTs, you'll be okay. Okay, let me explain to you how to deal with this. Okay, how to deal with the question of the particles. All right. To do so, I would like to show you the location for the materials that you will go to the resources area. Resources, pronunciation, pinyin, grammar, vocabulary, and characters. Go to this area in the Moodle site. Go to this Moodle site here and open it. And here's the whole book about the pinyin. This is not the one you want. It is this one you want. Characters, strength, and how to spell. This one. Okay. This is the place where you find determinate resolutions. If you have a question about that, okay, you have to come here. But before you are familiar with the general principles, okay, before you are actually trying to do the exercises, I strongly recommend that for once and for all, you make a thorough study of this. Don't skip this. Make a thorough study reading of this. Then you start to work. And come back to this when you are uncertain about the principles. Then after a few exercises, you shall be fine. You shall be able to do so like a trained native speaker, because after all, it's not that difficult. Okay. Now here, our it is known that the written Chinese characters are a challenge to beginning students. For beginning students, they see just lines and the dots connecting each other or separating from each other. Okay. Before you understand it, and that assemblage of lines and dots look like a mess of lines. You don't see a structure. This is one problem. Another problem is that you don't see the difference in meaning between characters that look alike, difference in pronunciation and difference in meaning in characters that look very much alike. For example, what's the difference between this and this? Right? And they have the same number of strokes and the same times strokes in the same stroke order. Right? The difference is that the first type 1 stroke, the horizontal line, is shorter than the second one in the first instance. In the second instance, the first horizontal line is longer than the second line. The stroke type are still the same. The stroke order are different. Okay. One is a symbol for earth, another is a symbol for gentleman. This is because they are the result of an evolution from an earlier symbol which look drastically different. When simplified, they get this result. Now, this is one of the reasons why the learning of characters would be challenging. These are some more examples. This differs from this in the first stroke. The first stroke for this character, gan, a tree trunk, is type 1 stroke, a straight horizontal line. The first stroke of qian is number 1000, is a type 3 stroke, is a leftwards fallen stroke. These two characters also have exactly the same strokes and written in the same stroke order, but they are connected to each other in different ways. One, this type 3 stroke in this character for people, for person, 人, is longer, and it actually leans on the second stroke. Am I right? Leans on the second stroke. But in the second case, and the second stroke, the first stroke supports the second stroke. Supports the second, it's beneath it. For this one, again, they have the same stroke order, same type of stroke order, same stroke type, and same stroke order. But the type 3 stroke is underneath type 5 stroke. And for this one, type 3 stroke actually crosses type 1 stroke. So there are cases where characters look alike, but they have different pronunciations. And they have different meanings. This is one of the reasons that make the study of characters challenging. Now, and the structure approach to strokes and radicals is essential for a scientific study of the strokes, so that those ambiguities will no longer be a problem. So one approach is enjoyed to see the beauty, the structure, the meaning behind it. One of the students can take comfort in the fact that, in spite of the apparent difficulties, the written symbols of the Chinese language are nonetheless used by 1/5 of the world population. In 1 of 5 people in the world, you will see a user of this written symbol. So it has been used by more people than any other language. And this writing system has been in use without disruption for thousands of years in East Asian countries, including Japan, Korea, and Vietnam countries. Since the ancient time, have been used continuously for so long. So there must be a reason. There must be some attraction in this set of symbols. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been used by so many people and for so long. There's no other language who has been used by so many people, who has been used. There's no other writing system that has been continuously used for so long, and also by so many people. There must be something in it that makes the learning of it a source of joy. Okay, a source of joy. Okay, there must be some strengths in this system that accounts for its stability, endurability, and the usability. Okay, usability. And also, the structure of the Chinese characters and rules, there are structures. It's easy to understand the structures. Okay, there are structures. Now you do not need to be experts in linguistics in order to master the Chinese as a foreign language. But to learn a foreign language is not simply a matter of repeatedly copying the characters and saying the spoken words. It's not to just do that by memorizing things. It is also a matter of identifying patterns and laws. For this purpose, I would like to direct your attention to some typical forms in writing system for this language, and some rules underline the ordered sequence in which radicals are arranged in characters, and strokes are written down to produce the radicals. Now let's take a look at the rules. Okay. Now, we need to see that the structure of the writing system is hierarchical. The basic elements are called strokes, which are meaningless. Just 5 types of lines and dots moving in a particular direction, beginning at a certain point, ending at a certain point, with one end either of the same thickness with the other, or thinner than the other, or stronger than the other. Okay, these are 3 features of the strokes. Okay, line or dots, horizontal or vertical or falling, leftwards, rightwards, and the ends, are they of the same sequence and thickness or not? Some of these features, they are purely visual, not semantic, no meaning at all. But when these strokes are put together to form a written form, they become radicals. They become the roots. Okay, they become the roots. Radical is another word of the same roots. That is the basic meaning components of the roots. When such radicals are used as standalone words, they are called characters. Characters are actually the written symbol used as a separate unit in a sentence. Radicals are just considered as the component of radicals. Okay? They are not considered as being used in communication. They're used to compose, but the concept of characters should be distinguished. When we list the characters, the written symbol in your vocabulary, they're all counted as characters. When I teach you how to write them, then I teach you how to break the characters into radicals and break the radicals into strokes. So the structure of that would be hierarchical. For instance, in this sentence, 你好同学, 你好同学, 你好同学. There are 3 words. One is 你 for you, 好 for good, for being good. And 同学 is Chinese for classmates. 3 words. But there are 4 characters. Okay, 你 is 1 character. Okay, each space, each individual unit of the same space is a character, right? Okay, it's a character. There are 3 characters. So a strong feature of this character is that it's monosyllabic. Each character is 1 syllable. It's 1 syllable. You don't have 2 syllables for you. don't have two syllables for how. We don't have two syllables. Okay. Each character is one syllable. 同学 and one tone. It's one syllable and one tone. Okay. So for the word, Chinese word for classmate, you have two syllables. 同学, but the Chinese written symbol for one of the morphemes component of the Chinese 同学 is one syllable syllabic character, right? Okay, now let's look at some example of radicals. Yeah, example radicals that are used to make character. For example, the word 明, you have learned the word 明天 for tomorrow, haven't you? 明天 for tomorrow. Okay, this 明 is Chinese for brightness. Okay, tomorrow is the day when the darkness of the night is over. So it's the bright day again tomorrow. Bright day again. Now for this one, it's made of a two radical. This is the symbol for the sun. 日. So you have learned this as a radical. 星期日 for Sunday. Do you remember that? The day of the sun. 星期日 for Sunday. So when this is used as a standalone character, it is a character. But when it's part of another character, it's a radical. It's a meaning component. 月 is the Chinese character for moon. It is not to be broken into other parts. They are the most basic structure. Radicals cannot be further be broken down. You get it? Can be further broken down. But radicals can be used as characters when they are actually used as a syllable. Okay. When a part of the character, their phonetic value is lost. When it contributes to the meaning of another character. For instance, brightness is made of two radicals. 日 for sun, 月 for moon, and both are sources of light for day and night. So that is the symbol for brightness. Okay, when you look at the meaning of the characters, meaning that characters contribute to radicals, radicals contribute to characters, you will see the beauty in it. Then you start to enjoy learning it. Am I right? You start to enjoy learning it. Okay. Now you will try to see why this is the symbol for sun. You use this dictionary to check. And this is to check. Check. Now in this tab, the second tab from the right is about its original form. You open it. And you see the earliest form of that will be here. Just a picture of the sun. Symbolic picture, it's not realistic. Symbolic picture of the sun. Okay, it's round and there's a very darkened part of that sun. Then eventually evolves into this, becomes more rectangular. Just for the purpose of writing, for the purpose of printing, for the purpose of carving with a knife. Previously, we didn't write with the brushes. We wrote on the stone and cut. Cut. So eventually dissolved, becomes this. Now, let's look at the yue. You'll see another example of this. Now, again, in order to see its origin, you click the second tab from the right. Okay, 字源字形, click this one, open this. You will see the earliest form of that. It's just a crescent moon. Do you see that? A crescent moon, a symbolic picture of that. Eventually, this is the earliest. They become this and this and this and this and this. okay, become standardized for printing purposes. Previously, it was more symbolic, more iconistic and symbolic. Later, it becomes like this. Okay, so radicals, when stand alone, they have an iconic basis. They cannot be broken. They have one syllable. They have an iconic basis. When they are made, they are used as a part of the character. They become a radical of a more complex character, and they contribute to the meaning of the character. If they do not contribute to the meaning of the character, then they would have contributed to the phonetics of the character, tell you how it is read. It would be read very much like the radical itself, it tells you. If it contributes to the meaning, then it doesn't contribute to the sound. It either contributes to the meaning or contributes or demonstrate the sound. It either contributes to the meaning or demonstrate the sound of the character. Do you understand now? Okay, sound of the character. So this is what we mean by radical. Radical is the basic component of a character. Now you see, radicals are separated from each other. There's a space between the radicals. Do you see that? So it is possible to break a character into a number of radicals according to the number of spaces that are separating from them. Am I right? Okay, this is one of the ideas you need to know. Then, within the character, radicals, then you will see strokes. Okay, falling line, horizontal line, bands, and so on. And so on. Okay, there are 5 types of strokes. 5 types of strokes. Now we move to the typical structure of the characters. Okay, typical configuration of a characters with a radical. Sometimes a character is made of only one radical. So we may take this as type 1 form of Chinese character. For example, number 7, qi, is of this type. You cannot break this further. You cannot break this further. There are many characters that you have learned belong to this type. Number 4, 4, number 5, 5. Do you remember that? Do you remember? Number 10, 10, number 6, 6, and so on. Okay. Or the sun, 日, or the moon, 月, and the person, 人, and so on. Do you remember these characters?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, these characters would belong to this type. Would belong to this type. Type 2 characters, others made 2 radicals, one on the left, one on the right. On the right. In this case, you start with the one on the left, marked as A, then you move to the radical in the position marked as B. Marked as B. For example, the word 你 for you can be broken into these 2 parts. Into these 2 parts. Is that clear? Okay, into the A and the B. Now, in your text, one of the Chinese characters, Song Li Li, in the dialogues, the surname for Song Li Li takes this shape. And the top part is a radical. Okay. Radicals are those forms that are frequently used in other characters. You need to learn about 200 of them in order to learn the characters quickly. So every time you learn a character, you break them into parts and start to identify the recurrent patterns of radicals. Here you see this one, okay? There is one on the top and another one at the bottom. You will see this recurring in other characters as well. Okay, this is a song. So A on top, B at the bottom. So you start writing the radical on top, and then write the radical at the bottom. So the so-called stroke order happens within the radicals, but there is also a radical order. Which radical to be written first? In this character 谁 who 他是谁 who is him or her. Yeah, 他是谁 this character. This would have 3 parts, A, B, C. They are arranged horizontally, A, B, C. Do you see that? Yeah, horizontally. Why? Because there are spaces separating them. Second, each unique part has a unique meaning, contributes to the unique meaning. All right? Okay. And this one, 3 radicals on the top, 草 for grass, okay, grass, and in the middle and the bottom, okay, it's vertically arranged. This character also has 3 radicals, one on top, 2 at the bottom, This one, 3 radicals, 2 on top, 1 at the bottom. This one, 3 radicals, 1 on the left, 3 vertically arranged, 1 on top, the other at the bottom, and so on and so forth. You will see that there is a pattern here. There is a pattern here. Starting from here, the 12A up until 12C, you will see that one of the radicals is a semi-enclosure. Do you see that? It's a semi-enclosure, either from top or from the left or from the bottom or from the left top or from the bottom left or from the top right. Right? It's semi-enclosure. This is slightly linked to type 12, type 11. Type 11 is the entire enclosure. There's one inside and one outside. One inside and one outside. You have learned 2 characters that take this structure. One is the character 国 for country. 中国, remember that? 中国, 英国, 美国, 法国. Another character is the verb for to return home. 回家, go home. Remember? You learned that last week. 回, okay? The word character 回 is also an enclosure. Okay, let me show an example. Guo is a closure, am I right? Okay, and 回家, right? Okay, now previously I told you about Song Li Li, so A, B arranged vertically, right? How about Jia? Do you see something similar? Yeah, top is the same, all right? Okay, there are many other words. And this is the top, isn't it? Okay, so if you start to actually recognizing and memorizing these, enjoy writing them, you see there are only 200. Every time I teach you about 10 of them. So if you actually isolate this, at things that you should pay attention to, then it won't be long for you to recognize the 200 radicals. And there are books in the stores about writing characters. You can borrow online from library, digital copies, or you can purchase them from Amazon and so on, from Amazon, and then you'll be able to learn them. There are many ebooks in library if you search. Right. So radicals are such that they just recur in other characters. They just are repeatedly used. This is this one. Now here you have learned many of these, some of these. For example, have you learned 可以 for yeah? It's okay. Probably haven't. Yes. 可可可乐 ordinary drinks. Remember that? 我要可可可乐 I want Coca-Cola. You learned it. You learned the word 可. You learned the word 这 for this 这个多少钱 Remember that? Okay, 这个多少钱 You see, there are two radicals, one on top and the other on the top left. So once you know that this would be this type of a configuration, then you know which radical should be written first. Suppose I want you now to write the stroke order of 这. Now, by referring to this, you know it's 12 E-type characters. And it's a half closure, and you start from this A before you come to the B. Then you should write this first. Then you write this. Right? Then you write this. Okay. So the stroke order is, if you want to look at the stroke order, first look at the bigger structure. Which radical in the character should be written first? Look at this big structure first. Do you understand? Okay, there are about 12 forms, but there are some variant types of 12, type 12, half closures. There are about 12 forms. Do you understand now? Okay, so this is the link that I want you to be familiar with. You always come to this link to see the order of the radicals in a character. Is that clear now? Okay. Now after this, once you know, I just ask you again, do you know how to break a character into the radicals now? Say in words, not just not.
Yes.
Yes, good. Yeah, say in words.
I
yes,
have a
good.
question.
Yeah, good question. Ask all questions, please. Yeah.
In section 1.3, we are asked to break up the radicals. So how do you break it up?
Break up.
I see how you do it in written form, but you do it on a laptop.
Yeah. Could you give me an example of a character that you have difficulty breaking?
I have difficulty with all of them. I see that you did Ming, but I don't know how to do the rest on my laptop. I can do it on paper, but not on my laptop.
You mean how to type this? Do you mean how to type this?
Sorry, it broke up. What?
You mean you want to type these radicals, do you? Is this your question?
Yeah.
You can't type
yes.
this, not at the moment.
Okay. So
Not
how
at
do
the
I
moment.
answer the question?
You can type, you can write them and then send the image of that, insert the image.
So we insert an image in each section in 1.3.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. For example, if you want to break this 这 into this, all right?
Mhm.
Okay, then you could scan it. You could scan it. You scan it in this picture, then you crop it. Crop it, save it. Want to save it at my desktop or save in my picture. Then I'll create a, do I have characters? Do I have radicals? No, I don't. So I'll create a temporary folder. Then I write, okay, create radicals for 这. Radicals for 这, all right here. Now it's saved. Then if I want to write, then I would insert an image. So upload from computer. And I go to picture to look for the folder where it is saved. Do you see what I mean now?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can't type the radicals at the moment, not until you are at stage 3 when I teach you. All right? Not until you are very familiar with this.
So we'll have to do all of 1.3.
There aren't many.
Okay.
Are there many? No. Won't take you more than 5 minutes to get that done. Am I right?
Yeah.
So there aren't many. Okay, so you should be actually comfortable with that. All right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank
Okay. And that's why I don't give you so many. I just want you to have some experience in doing that. Right. You won't be able to type this until you're more familiar with this. Okay, I won't teach you until a later stage. All right. So do you want to do stage 3?
I'm not sure. I'm
Not
graduating.
sure. Oh, you're graduating, then you're not coming back.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How many stages are there?
How many stages? There are 3 stages at the moment. Okay. But in order to be very, very strong, you have to reach at least stage 6.
Okay.
You have to reach stage 6. And stage 3 will actually give you some confidence. Until you reach stage 6, then you will be quite fluent. You'll actually manage working in an environment when Chinese is used.
Okay, but what if the student is going on a placement or is graduating?
It's
So,
graduating unless you want to come back to study this.
like
Then
you just
you
stop.
have to go elsewhere if you're graduating. And this is offered free to students who are Portsmouth University students who are studying here. So this is a free course. It's a service to students of our university.
Yeah.
Students outside this university are not offer this.
And
Right.
if I'm going on a placement next year,
Placement next year, you are still a student of our university.
yeah, so I can continue.
You can continue and can apply for stage 3.
Okay.
Right, so Now, have I answered your question about how to insert the picture?
Yeah.
Radicals. All right, good. Okay. Yeah, you write it on the piece of paper, you scan it and insert it, crop it and insert it. All right? Okay. Write, handwriting, scan it, crop it, and insert it. All right. Okay. Now, so have I explained how to break a character into, how to recognize the radicals in a character and to recognize the configuration types in the character? Have I?
Yeah.
Yes. Have I explained the order in which you write the radicals in a character?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Now, so can you, after my teaching of this, can you also make a point of reading this part, this document? Okay. Actually studying, as I said in the beginning, it is essential to study the written documents for once and for all. Make a thorough study, systematic study, all right, in the beginning, so that you leave no loose ends. You can actually approach it structurally. Now, the second issue is to actually take a structural approach to the stroke types. Structured approach to the stroke types. I've explained to you that there are, there are 5 stroke types. Stroke type 1 is a horizontal line. This is a type. There is a variant form which looks like a rising line. Its feature is that its top, its bottom is thick, top is thin, and this gives you a direction. It is actually from left to right. This is the main feature, from left to right. It always appears at the bottom left of a character. This is to create a balance. If you write like this, it would look that the bottom left is too heavy. By writing in this way, will make the character look more balanced aesthetically. So it's for aesthetic reason that we change the form of this, but we don't change the type of this character. When this line appears at the bottom left, it's written like this, just for aesthetic reason, to make it look more balanced. You understand? Okay, this is type 1 stroke, a horizontal line. There are 2 tokens, 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 这个菜打包, remember that? I would like to take away this, and the 打 is this. Okay? So this stroke is stroke 1. Everybody, do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, here are some more examples of type 1 stroke with two tokens. For example, the first stroke in the character yu, which is rainwater. The 2 strokes in the character tu, which is Chinese for earth, type 1. This character for number 7 is written from left to right. It's not from right to left. So it is this. It is this. And in this character, there are actually 3 occurrences of this. 2 occurrences of this, 1 occurrence of this. Do you see that? In this star, do you see that? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. In this character, 次, there's 1 occurrence of this, no occurrence of this. Am I right? Even if this looks like that, it's actually type 5 because it's a bend. All right, there's a bend, a turning. In 我, for me, Chinese character for me, or I, there's one occurrence of this and the one occurrence of this. Do you see that? This one and this one. All right? Okay. Type 2 strokes is a vertical line. It's a vertical line. So it just falls from top to bottom. From top to bottom. There are two tokens, two variant forms. This one is a standard one, just like this one is a standard one. And this one, when it occurs on the right-hand side, or when it occurs on the right-hand side, then there is a tick upwards towards the left. This is also to create a balanced impression for ornamental reasons. It doesn't constitute a different type of strokes. Okay? Do you understand? Okay. The idea is you would never see a vertical line that appears on the right-hand side that doesn't have this tick at the bottom. So it's this notion. Whenever a horizontal line appears at the bottom left, you will never see a horizontal line. You will see this. You will see this. This is just for ornamental reason. So this is not different from this. Similarly, this is not different from this. Do you understand? Okay. Do you have questions so far about the first two stroke types? Do you have questions so far? Tell me. Say no. Say. Yeah, use words, please. 没有，说中文没有。
没有。
Okay, 没有。Now, let's look at type 3 stroke. Type 3 stroke. Type 3 stroke is characterized by left falling, falls towards the left. Falls towards the left. And also is from thick to thin. It begins with a thick end and ends in a thin end. All right, these two features. Sometimes certain fonts are very deceiving. For example, this font, this dot, actually it begins with a thick end and ends in a thin end. Because this font is written in this way, it gives you a wrong impression. Makes you think that the end point is stronger. So you need to actually change the font to see what it is like. Let me see if there is a proper Chinese font here. Here. This Songti, remember? Song, yeah, Songti. Try to use Songti instead of Kaidi. For example, I type Ni. Do you see this Ni? This is Songti. Now, if I type this in Kaiti, okay, this is Songti. Songti is a standard form. If I type this in Kaiti, if I change this to a different font, Kaiti, and then if I enlarge this, do you see a difference?
Yes.
Yeah, do you see? And if you are using this, you may be deceived. This is the problem, but this is commonly used. So it's not a problem if you actually recognize this character, this radical 小。这件毛衣太小了, remember?
Yes.
Yeah, too small, 太小了. Also see this 小 in the song type, in the Song font, not Kaiti, in this Songti. In this Songti, then, this stroke on the left would be type 3. If you see this font, the stroke, the dot on the left would be type 4. Type 4 is a falling line or dot with the bottom end being thicker than the beginning end. Okay, now we move to type 4. Type 4 is either a dot or a line falling to whatever direction, to left or to right. Type 3 is always left falling, and the beginning is thick. Type 4 is right falling. It's right falling, or left falling, or left falling, whatever direction, doesn't really matter. So here I must change here. Okay, with a thick end. So in all these cases, you see, this bar for number 8, the first stroke is falling left. The top part is thick, and the bottom part is thin. So it is type 3, am I right? Second stroke is falling as well, but the bottom part is thicker than the top part, so it's type 4. So here I would like you to distinguish between type 3 and type 4. Have I made that clear to you now?
Yes.
Yes, okay, type 4. Now, these are the examples. Okay, examples. For this 家,回家的家, coming home, 家, the first stroke is a dot, it's falling, and it has a thick end, not a thick beginning. Am I right?
Okay.
And for 点, 几点钟啊, 小一点, 便宜一点. Remember the word 点? Yeah? 有便宜点的吗? 现在几点钟啊? 这个点. The bottom dots, yeah, bottom 3 dots, they are type 4. But how about the first one? If you're not sure, then use the 宋体. Okay. It's a thick, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
The first dot is a thick end, am I right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. If you're still not sure, then use the website here. Use the website here. Okay, use the website here. And check here. 笔顺 is a 4444. Do you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's 4444. Okay, now you look at, okay, so I've helped you distinguish the 4 type. Then the 5th type is both easy and difficult. It's easy because it has a very distinct mark, that is a turning point, a bend. No matter how many, as long as it's continuous and there is a bend, it is 1 stroke. no matter how many bands. For instance, this one has 2 bands, 3 bands, 3 angles, am I right? But it's written continuously. So it is 1 stroke and type 3. So is this, so is this, so is this, so is this. All these are just 1 stroke. So it is easy. Why did I say that is also difficult? Because sometimes you may feel tempted to see them as a combination of more than 1 strokes. For instance, you may see this as stroke type 3 and type 4 combined. Why not? Why not? Yes, not, because it's written continuously. There's no pause between them. All right? It's written continuously. There's no pause between them. There's just one end and one beginning, one end. Is that clear to you now?
Yes.
Okay. So it is also necessary that you actually take a look at this, gaze at it for a duration about half an hour. So, okay, for duration half an hour. So until, well, this shape will never actually be misidentified. Yeah. And also take a look at all these examples. Yeah, all the examples. I learned this when about 8 or so. When we were 8 or so. And it didn't take me more than half an hour. Yeah. So as long as you actually pay attention to it and remember the rule, 1 is a continuous line, there's no end. Yeah. No matter how many bends and angles there are, okay, this is not to be broken into 2 different types of strokes. Is that clear to you now? Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. Now let's look at this character, the middle one, shown here. How about the corner at the bottom right? Do you just write here, then turn upwards? You don't. So there is a breaking point here. Am I right? When you write it, okay, when you write the first vertical line to the bottom, and the second part of that is towards the right. So there is a natural movement towards the right. So you don't stop here. You carry on moving. Once you reach to the bottom right, but there is no such a stroke that moves from bottom to up to top. So you have to stop. You have to stop and try write again by writing this. Is that clear to you now? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now let's look at this character on the on this part and on right. The top stroke is a horizontal line, type 1. Type 1. For this stroke, you have to begin at the top left to write it. And then it ends. Yeah, so it is 1 stroke. And the vertical line on the right and the horizontal line at the bottom is definitely separated from the horizontal line on the top, because you cannot actually start anywhere else unless you start at this corner for this horizontal line, right? So whether it's a line or not, you have to consider this starting point. Then the vertical line on the left, once it reaches the bottom part, then it would be natural to move towards the right. Am I right? Mm-hmm. So it ends at the points, and that for the horizontal line also begins at this point. So there is no actually a pause. You write continuously. So the vertical line on the left and the horizontal line at the bottom is actually it's actually 1 stroke. And this stroke is this one. Right? So this is the reason why I say this group of strokes this type of stroke with so many different tokens may be confusing sometimes. Okay, you may feel tempted to count more than one strokes in this, but I advise you not to do so by familiarizing yourself with this list of things. So that's why I said you should study this material for once and for all thoroughly. Is that made clear to you now?
Mhm.
Okay, so you will no longer see this as 1 and 3. Am I right? You will no longer see this as a 1 and 5. Am I right? You will no longer see this as 2, then 1 and 2. Am I right? It's just a continuous line, naturally moving and naturally falling, naturally rising, right? And this one stroke. This one stroke. Okay, it's not 3 and 1. It is just 5. Falling, then turn. You can't, because this end point is also the beginning point. It's continuous. Now, clearer, am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I have told you nearly everything now about these 5 stroke types, haven't I?
Yeah.
Yes. Now, can you please say the stroke types of this character 买 or 买苹果? I want to buy apples. 买. Say this. Say the number for this type.
5.
Then second stroke.
4.
Everybody speak loudly, please. Okay, and the third stroke.
4.
Huda
4.
and Mary,
Yeah, 4.
and this stroke,
1.
1.
and this stroke,
3.
and this stroke.
4.
4.
Yeah. Now you can recognize the 5 strokes, 5 stroke types. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let me explain to you the stroke order. Rules for stroke order. Okay, rules for stroke order within radicals. I've already told you the order of the radicals in the character, haven't I? Okay, I've told you about the order of radicals in this section. 12 typical structures. I've explained this already. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the second step is to explain the stroke order within a character, within a radical. There are basically these rules. Move from top to bottom when one stroke is higher than the other stroke. When I say one stroke is higher than the other, I mean when the beginning point of one stroke is higher than the beginning point of another stroke. Because different parts of the stroke may take different positions. Yeah, if it is falling stroke, the end point is higher than the bottom point. Then you may ask me, okay, which part of that is counted? Yeah, all right. So we compare the beginning point of 2 strokes. Let's, for example, look at this character. It's very clear which stroke is higher than the other. Am I right? Yes. Okay. move from left to right when two strokes are arranged horizontally on the same level. If the beginning points are at the same level, and then you move from left to right. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Now here, let's look at this character, 小. First, look at the height. Which one's higher? There are three types. One is a type 2, one is a type 3. Okay.
Yeah.
One is type 2, one is type 3, one is type 4. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, then which one should go first?
Number 2.
Number 2. So you first look at the height. Then you look at, okay, at the left or right relation. Am I right? You first look horizontally, then you look vertically. Do you see that?
Okay.
Okay, you look vertically. Now, this is the second rule, like this one. Okay, and here I could add another character. You see which one is. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. That would be 2, 3, 4. Am I right? Yeah, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Okay, I should actually. This is something actually a lot of people, native speakers, they learn that when they were a child, when they were children. But when they grow up, they forget how to explain them. Okay, they know how to write them, but they can't explain the rules. Is this similar to the way you master your native languages?
Something similar. I would
Yeah,
say.
something similar. You know how to do it, but you can't explain the rules. Am I
Yeah.
right? Okay. Okay, when two strokes are crossing each other, then it's very hard to say which is on top and which is on the left. Am I right?
Yeah.
When they are crossing each other. When they are crossing each other, then the horizontal line goes before the vertical line. When these are crossing each other. Do you get it?
Yeah.
Okay, so there are more examples. Can you see more examples of this? See. How about
Number 10.
10? Right?
Mm.
Okay. 10. That would be. Can you tell me the stroke types, please?
1 and 2.
Okay. Now, how about 中? How about 餐巾纸 the 巾 and 中? And also 巾 我要一个餐巾纸，我要一张餐巾纸。Do you remember that? I want a napkin.
Yeah.
Yeah, in restaurant. Okay. 巾毛巾，这条毛巾怎么卖 ？And this towel, how much is this? Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you remember 巾 for towel, for napkin? Do you remember this? Okay. Do you see that? Do you see this one? Okay. There is a horizontal line between that. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. And also there are two horizontal, and the other one is a simple horizontal line at the bottom. The top one is just horizontal line as a part of type 5. The other one is horizontal line standing alone. Standing alone. Okay, standing alone. So in this case, which one should go first?
Five.
Which one should go? Can you say the stroke order, please?
5, 2, 1.
You say the first stroke. What is the first stroke?
2.
2. How about Mary? What is the first stroke?
Yeah, I think I would say 2.
Okay. How about Huda?
I was gonna say 5.
Have you changed your mind?
Not sure.
Not sure. Okay. Remember, this is 2. This is a 2. Okay. This is 2. Yeah, 2. Then what is the second stroke?
5.
And Mary?
1.
1. And Huda?
5.
5. Mary, say again. Have you changed your mind?
I don't know.
What? Have you changed your mind? Second stroke. After the horizontal line, does it turn down? Naturally.
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah.
what stroke is it?
So 5.
Yeah. So revise that section for 5 stroke. Gaze at that for duration about half an hour. Okay? So you see, it is actually 5. It's actually 5. Then third stroke.
1.
Yeah, 1. And the fourth stroke.
2.
2. So the fourth stroke is written as the last stroke. Do you see that?
Yeah.
And this follows the principle of this. The horizontal line goes before the vertical line. Do you see that?
Okay.
Now how about 巾? 毛巾的巾? Can you tell me the stroke order? First stroke?
2.
Mary, first stroke?
2.
2. And Julia?
I'd say 2 as well.
2. Second stroke?
5.
5. And third stroke?
2.
2. Do you disagree, Huda?
No.
Okay, correct. Done. Am I right? So this is the third rule. So when they cross each other, horizontal line and vertical, when they cross each other, what to do? This is about horizontal line and the vertical line crossing each other. All right. Now here are about type 3 and the type 4 strokes when they're connecting each other, either crossing or connecting. Intersecting or connecting. Do you see that?
Mhm.
In that case, the left falling line goes before the right falling line when these are crossing each other or connecting each other. So, even if in this character, the right falling line is on top of the left falling line. Do you see that?
Yes.
If the position takes precedence, then you would start with the right falling line first, type 4 stroke.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
But this rule is overridden by rule D. When two connecting lines are type 4 and type 3. You get it?
Yeah.
Okay. So type rule C and rule D overrides the top rules. Do you remember? Okay. Rule C is about connecting lines which are vertical and horizontal. Rule D are about the connection between left falling and right falling lines, type 3 and type 4. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. For more details, click link and open the worksheet. You practice the worksheet. Let me check the link. This is something you can download and get printed and put in the folder. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, you can download and get printed and put it in the folder to review so that you don't have to go online all the time. All right?
Yeah.
And there are some exercises here. Right? Okay. Right. So I think this is quite thorough, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, it's quite thorough. Do you have questions?
Yeah, I've attempted the radical thing because it's been tough, but I'm gonna send it on the chat. Could you please tell me if I'm going the right direction?
Okay. Yes. Yes, correct.
So the first one has 3 parts, it's not 2, right?
The first one, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah. In future, don't ask questions that are directly inside the exam paper, all right? That will make me feel embarrassed. Do you understand? Because we can't explain to you how to answer a question in the paper. Right. Try to think of another way of asking questions.
All right.
Okay, try to think of another way. For instance, okay, give me something similar to this. By answering the question, I've answered this question. All right, do you get it? You have a number of days to work on that, and you're welcome to ask me questions, but never ask questions. Never ask your teacher whether your answer to a question in the paper is correct or not.
All right.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I encourage you to ask questions, but you have to ask that in a way that is indirect. All right? Okay, good. Yes, thank you, Huda. And any more questions about stroke orders?
No.
Radical characters, no more questions, am I right? Okay. I think it is worth doing that, revising it, isn't it?
Mhm. Yeah.
Right, okay. All right. So use the resources here, am I right? Where's the resource? Okay, I give you this Word document. Could you please download and print it? Keep it handy, all right?
Okay.
This is a Word document. And also go to the Moodle site here. Study this material, this link, which is in this section, in the resources section. All right, in the resources section. And this is the link. I upload this here. Make a thorough study of that for once and for all. For once and for all. And later I will upload the video recording here at this point later. All right, so let me insert video. Later, after class, in about 2 hours time, I'll upload our lecture here, our recording here. All right?
All right.
Okay, this will be the place where you will watch it. Okay, over here. Now, can I move quickly to the second question about the composition? I do not have so much time, but I think I've got enough material on the Moodle site. Unless you still have some question about the stroke order. Do you have questions about stroke order?
No.
No, okay. So the second question is about, okay, video recording will be placed here. Second